Para nós é uma super honra ter todo mundo aqui neste dia em que se celebra o dia do design italiano, por coincidência, neste dia em que nós também tínhamos combinado fazer uma apresentação da nova instalação da Tacchini nas lojas QuartoSala. E eu quero começar aqui por agradecer a prontidão e a forma tão calorosa como a Embaixada da Itália e o Sr. Carlo Formosa, que nos ouviu tão rapidamente e que se juntou a este evento e que nos ajudou a pôr tudo isto de pé, esta produção, que espero que vá correr muito bem e que vocês gostem. E vou agora passar-lhe aqui o microfone e eu já retomo mais umas palavras rapidamente. Sr. Embaixador.
Muito obrigado. Well, actually, I'm not going to show off with my incredible Portuguese because in the division of tasks that we agreed, I would have speaking in English, and especially I think that I'm going to give back the floor to Pedro to introduce our guests and speakers. So I am not going to have the honor to do it myself. I'm going to just give a few lines of what we are celebrating here today. This is the 8th edition of the Italian Design Day, which is a promotion, a showcase, let's say, spread all over the world and carried out by the network of the diplomatic network, all embassies, all together at the same time, organize event in order to show what is the excellence of the Italian design, what is to speak about design, and to make everybody know a little bit better of why Italy is considered the country that encompasses all the features that contribute to develop, have contributed all over these last decades, to the definition of the concept of design. It's in this case, as Pedro said in his introduction, it is actually for me the fourth celebration of the Italian Design Day, and it's going to be unfortunately the last year in Portugal because I'm going to close my experience as an ambassador here in Portugal very, very in the next few weeks. But it's a pleasant occasion because obviously for an ambassador, and I would say for an Italian ambassador, to have the chance to speak about design and to listen to those who have the ability to dialogue on these features that made Italy so well known over the world, I think that for me at least is a privilege. And I did it in a previous occasion in different locations, and this very cozy atmosphere, it's really something that make me happy because it's a way of entering into a place where the contribution to the spread of that excellence that Italy represents in the field of design is showed plastically, I would say. I'm not going to spoil the introduction of Pedro, but it's the idea came out because when I came to visit, all this concentration of beauty, this concentration of Italian design, immediately came to us the idea of trying to encompass what was already part of the program of QuartoSala with it's already planned exhibition from Tacchini, with that incredible pieces that is going to be part of Salone del Mobile, with our need to give a contribution to the knowledge of what Italy did, and will continue to do as a strong millennial feature that Italy has developed in this long century in the past, in not only in the definition of the concept of beauty, of progress, of innovation, but also as an industrial main character in the world, because as you probably know, Italy has the second manufacturing system in Europe. And this is the combination that probably make, together with this strong cultural identity that Italy has, the ability of being always forefront in creating design, creating innovation and beauty. I'm not going to introduce myself, but just give me the opportunity to say that thank you very much to Giusi Tacchini, to Arianna Lelli Mami. For the first time I meet here in Portugal, but I know that they know very well this country. They know very well what incredible reality represent QuartoSala here in Portugal in this field. And also to my friend, very known, she's an institution. I also gave her an honor, very important honor, to be awarded with the Cavalierato della Repubblica Italiana, and this is the recognition of what Guta did. Is once joking, I said you also would deserve the Italian citizenship, because in doing back and forth with Italy in the last decades, well, no, she's very young, let's say a few years, it's always committed in having everybody aware of what is the Italian design, what Italy did in this field is really deserved this recognition, so that with pleasure I did it. So I think that I'm going to give back the floor to Pedro, and thank you, all of you, for being here. It's really something different with what we did in the past, because we always chose a very institutional, a very formal location like university, the Camera Municipal, other occasion, I don't remember anymore, but it was, and this is the first time that we do it in a place like this, when it's very easy to see what we are talking about. So thank you to QuartoSala again for giving us this opportunity. Thank you, and thank you to you.
Thank you very much. Well, after this, there's not much I can say, but still I move on to Tacchini. Thank you very much for your words. We are very proud for doing the work we do with Italian design. We think that Italian design is our main interest in what we do. And I think that there is a legacy in Italian design. So you do represent very well the Italian design. Thank you again for joining us in this event. We're very proud. And so I would just like to move on, talking a little bit about Tacchini, because we are here centered in the idea of presenting the new Tacchini presentation here in QuartoSala. Tacchini is a brand we've been working for many years at QuartoSala. It's a brand we like, it's a brand we cherish, and there is something that I like very much at Tacchini, which is the working with the legacy of the old masters of Italian design, but also mixing that with new contemporary creators. And that's what I find really very, very interesting. And we are here with Giusi Tacchini. She's the second generation of a family business. So, and she's done an incredible work in bringing Tacchini to the front as a brand that is not only doing business, they are in the business of creating a real design culture. And that's really my compliment to Tacchini. That's why we are very proud of having you here today. Thank you.
Sorry. But this is something that an ambassador is allowed to do, because, as you know, that he has immunity, so that nobody can tell. I forgot to say something very important, because obviously looking at who was present, but one of the main things that is related to the organization of this huge event, that, as I said, is spread all over the world, is the decision to have always very, very renewed and important protagonist in the field of design by choosing a testimonial, somebody who is an ambassador of design in that specific country. So, speaking about ambassadors, but she doesn't have any immunity, especially not from falling sick, because she found out just before taking the plane that she actually was not advisable for her to travel. So she's going to moderate from Italy, but allow me to say, to stress the important role that is going to have this very, very important person in the field of the sector of design, who probably will be introduced as well by Pedro, which is Maria Cristina Didero. So welcome also to my colleague, the ambassador of design in Portugal, Maria Cristina. I don't see you, but I'm sure that I'm not sure that we are going to hear you, because we are. Okay, very well.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Sorry for interruption, but I'm sure that you're going to forgive me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, see, Maria Cristina, sorry, I was turning my back on you. And sorry. So just to continue this presentation, I don't want to take long, because we have very interesting people here to talk about design, and this is what we all came here for. But just a few words about the people that are part of the panel. We have Maria Cristina Didero, that Mr. Ambassador has just talked about. She has a very interesting work as a curator, but also as a journalist and a collaborator for the most important design magazines in the world. So you will understand that she's a very interesting person. On the other side, we have Arianna Lelli Mami is here, and she's from Studio Pep, a very interesting design studio. We're talking about the legacy of the old masters and the contemporary designers, and Arianna is part in Studio Pep is a very interesting design studio collaborating with Tacchini. That is the reason why we are all here together. And I think that her presence here shows that Tacchini is moving on to supported by the good Italian design, but is moving on to something that is new, that is also very experimental. And so we are also very proud to having you here. Thank you, Arianna, for coming. And now, lastly, I would like to talk about Guta. There's not much we can talk about, but as there are many foreigners here among us, Guta has an incredible work. She has years of spreading the news about what's happening in Portugal, and she has transcended the idea of only working with Portuguese design. She is in the world. She is trying to put our design in the world map and not trying to say that it's Italian design or Portuguese design or whatever it is. Her work is for design, if I could say it in a clear way. So thank you also, Guta, for coming. It's a pleasure having you all here. And I leave now the microphone to Maria Cristina Didero, who will be moderating through video conference this talk. Okay? Once again, thank you all for coming. You're really welcome.
So we're very happy to be tonight. Great frame of QuartoSala. So thank you so much, Pedro, for that. Thanks a lot to Ambassador Carlo Formosa, because he started talking about Italian excellence. And when we talk about Italian excellence, let's go there to the example of the year. Arianna from Studio Pep, they are part of the patinage and inspiring studios nowadays, and Tacchini that has a long history, founded by Antonio Tacchini in 1967. So I'm bringing on, since is the date, a very forward and cutting-edge program, working with a lot of designers, like we have before, like Tacchini, like Castiglioni, but we have also like very like students, but also other younger profiles of the I think very well of the design scene. And then talking about excellence, of course, I cannot, I'm obliged to mention Guta. Guta to me is some sort of a real beautiful force of nature that they're very lucky she dedicated their life to design. So she's one of the most credible person that I've met. She had it all. She found this amazing event that was called Experimental Design, one of the first Biennale worldwide. It was so nice to meet every not every year, every 2 years, at the Experimenta, and actually getting the chance to meet some of the most important intellectual and brains that dedicated their life to this discipline. So I am aware of the limit of this connection and of this moderation. So I thank you so much to agree because I couldn't be there. I'm very sorry. So I would like to start now right away with Italy and asking Arianna and Giusi work together. So I want to start asking, how did you meet and how is developed this process of working together? Maybe Arianna first?
Ok, ciao a tutti, grazie di essere qui. Allora, io e Giusi ci siamo conosciute nel tempo, nel senso che io conoscevo l'azienda, lei conosceva il mio lavoro, il nostro lavoro, e poi delle persone che abbiamo in comune ci hanno presentati e abbiamo cominciato a parlare di design, di possibili progetti insieme, di visioni, di cose che comunque ci hanno accomunate, e da lì è nato il primo progetto che abbiamo realizzato per Tacchini, dei tavoli, di una famiglia di tavolini, e poi forse il progetto più iconografico, che è il Daybed 529, che è qui in sala con noi. E poi da lì la collaborazione è proseguita con altri progetti, sempre molto legati a quel saper fare artigianale italiano, alla ricerca di nuovi materiali, di nuove tecnologie, anche ripescando tecnologie e tecniche antiche come l'intreccio, oppure il cocoon, che invece è una tecnica contemporanea ma che ha una fortissima valenza artigianale e materica, che è quello che cerchiamo poi di perseguire nei nostri progetti e che Tacchini è riuscita molto bene a incarnare e a capire e a portare avanti.
Thank you very much, Arianna. Thank you very much, Arianna. I would like to ask Giusi how actually developed this collaboration, who does what, how do you interact, how a project starts with you.
Allora, abbiamo iniziato a lavorare insieme ormai
5 anni.
5 anni fa, però come diceva prima Arianna, il dialogo è iniziato molto tempo prima, perché come spesso succede nel nostro mondo è una questione di relazioni. Non chiami un designer solo per fare un prodotto, ma prima ci si incontra, si parla molto e si vede se c'è una certa affinità. Io stimavo tantissimo il lavoro che faceva Arianna con Chiara per Studio Pepe e così abbiamo iniziato questo dialogo. Da lì i progetti sono scaturiti anche in modo molto semplice, omogeneo, senza poi troppe parole, ecco, perché poi c'era questa intesa, quando si crea un'intesa, quando c'è feeling tra le persone e ci si conosce profondamente, si è in grande sintonia. E quindi con Arianna si è creata subito e Chiara una grande sintonia e spesso quando lei arrivava con delle cose discutevamo insieme trovavamo la strada per portare avanti il progetto, quindi da loro arrivano le idee e poi a quattro mani si trova il modo di realizzarlo. Realizzarlo, come diceva prima Arianna, la cosa che proprio ci accomuna tantissimo è la ricerca dei materiali. È una cosa che per noi è importantissima. È importante quanto il design. Cioè un oggetto non deve essere solo bello, ma deve essere fatto bene. I materiali devono essere eccellenti, di primissima qualità. Lavoriamo tanto con i marmi, con le pietre, con i legni naturali, con i cuoi, con i tessuti, ma anche con i tessuti c'è una grande ricerca, non utilizziamo dei tessuti normali per l'arredamento, ma cerchiamo tessuti che spesso arrivano da laboratori artigianali italiani dove ci sono ancora i telai che lavorano come una volta e dove si intreccia la lana insieme al lino, insieme alla seta per avere texture e profondità particolari. Ecco, questo è un po' il modo di lavorare che ci accomuna e così abbiamo lavorato fino ad oggi insieme.
Thank you very much, Giusi. Arianna, this is a question that I also want to address to Giusi as she has a company, but I would like to start with you. What is the role of sustainability within your projects? I would like to know when you start designing, of course you keep this idea, sustainable idea in mind. How does it work?
È molto complesso parlare di design e di sostenibilità perché sono due concetti che a volte e per lungo tempo sono stati anche antitetici. Chiaramente la sostenibilità è diventata primaria al giorno d'oggi nel discorso e nel dialogo contemporaneo, non solo legato al design ma legato alla vita di tutti i giorni. Per noi essere sostenibili prima di tutto vuol dire pensare a dei prodotti destinati a durare nel tempo. Questa per noi è la vera sostenibilità, perché chiaramente qualunque cosa si fa, qualunque cosa facciamo genera comunque una produzione e un'overproduzione e quindi non potendo agire sulla produzione intanto bisogna agire proprio sulla qualità di quello che si fa, qualità non solo, come diceva Giusi, della materia, dei materiali, ma anche proprio la qualità del progetto, quindi qualcosa destinato a durare nel tempo è implicitamente sostenibile. In più la qualità della materia è importantissima, quindi materiali naturali il più possibile e realizzati con dei processi che rispettano l'ambiente, le emissioni e nel mondo del design si sta facendo veramente tantissimo su questo. Parlo sulle cromature, sulle tinture, tutti i processi che sono nascosti ma che sono stati nel passato altamente inquinanti e le aziende all'avanguardia, le aziende di un certo tipo e sicuramente quelle del design made in Italy si stanno impegnando tantissimo su questo fronte. Poi a noi come studio amiamo moltissimo anche ragionare sul tema degli scarti, quindi creando anche dei pezzi utilizzando materie nobili ma che magari verrebbero buttate, sto pensando ai marmi o agli scarti dei pellami, quindi ci sono vari modi per affrontare questo tema. E l'ultimo, ma non meno importante, è proprio anche la qualità di chi lavora questi materiali, di chi produce quindi come lavorano, in che condizioni, com'è proprio il processo dal reperimento del materiale al prodotto finito. Quindi è un processo lungo, interessante anche, è una sfida, e sicuramente le aziende per le quali lavoriamo e Tacchini in primis si stanno molto impegnando su questa tematica.
Sì, io sono assolutamente d'accordo con tutto quello che ha detto ora Arianna.
Yes, I wanted to ask you, Giusi, that your role as CEO of a company related to sustainability is even more like there's a huge responsibility for sustainability. So I guess that you should be concerned about packaging, logistics, and all these other things that maybe are less related to the creative part. What's the direction that your company is taking towards this?
Allora, come diceva prima Arianna, è un processo molto complicato, non è affatto banale, e parlare di sostenibilità bisogna farlo proprio con coscienza, perché giusto come responsabile di un'azienda mi sento proprio responsabile dei prodotti che vanno sul mercato. Quindi sono assolutamente d'accordo con quello che ha detto Arianna prima su tutte le fasi di utilizzo dei materiali, su come lavorano le persone, sul fatto che bisogna lavorare soprattutto a chilometro zero. Noi acquistiamo, fate conto, il 90%, se non il 95% dei materiali in un'area tra i 20 e i 50 km dalla nostra azienda. Questo per evitare emissioni durante i trasporti. Questa è una cosa importante. Sì, ma l'anno scorso abbiamo iniziato un progetto particolare molto difficile, guidati dal duo milanese Forma Fantasma, con quale abbiamo fatto questo progetto dove all'interno degli imbottiti, anziché utilizzare il classico poliuretano espanso, che sostanzialmente è un materiale chimico, che c'è in tutti i prodotti, abbiamo iniziato a utilizzare della lana. Ma la lana che reperiamo è lana del territorio. Noi siamo in Brianza. La Brianza è quel territorio che è a metà tra Milano e Como. Quindi intorno abbiamo tutte le montagne, siamo vicini ai laghi e abbiamo parecchi alpeggi dove ci sono parecchi greggi. Ok? Quindi tutto il gregge una volta all'anno per forza deve essere tosato, e fino a poco tempo fa questa lana diventava materiale di scarto che andava bruciata perché nessuno poteva utilizzarla. Con un consorzio del territorio abbiamo iniziato a recuperare tutta questa lana, a lavarla, a lavorarla e a utilizzarla per gli imbottiti dei nostri prodotti. Ok? Quindi c'è tutta una collezione che è partita l'anno scorso, concentrata soprattutto sui grandi classici, perché Tacchini, questo è un altro argomento, un mix tra design contemporaneo e riedizioni di classici, dove la parte imbottita è fatta con lana, lattice e cocco, ok? Sono sedute super confortevoli e alla fine vita del prodotto puoi tranquillamente disassemblare tutto perché non c'è colla, tutto viene assemblato perché viene fatta una fodera e cucita a mano sul prodotto come si faceva una volta, quindi è un lavoro di grandissima artigianalità. Questo progetto continua nel 2024 e ci saranno 2 prodotti che verranno fatti in questo modo. Uno è una riedizione di Martin Eisler, un designer brasiliano che si chiama Reversible, e l'altro prodotto invece è un prodotto di un architetto, Carlo De Carli, milanese, che è Sella. Sono le nuove edizioni del 2024 proposte con questo materiale.
So these 2 pieces will be upholstered with wood.
Yes.
That's very good. It's also very nice this dichotomy that you have in your company with the classic maestros and very young profiles like Forma Fantasma, Ned and Nicolas from Lebanon. So congratulations. I know you are the artistic director, so I get to pick up the designers. Arianna, you have been designed a lot of different typologies of objects for Tacchini. So from stool to tables, can you tell us what is your next project, if it's possible to know?
A noi piace molto pensare, quando pensiamo a un progetto, poi ci vengono sempre in mente delle famiglie di progetti, degli ambienti, quindi tendiamo a pensare in modo globale. Per noi un divano porta poi un tappeto, una lampada, quindi questo è un po' un approccio che ci caratterizza. Prossimi progetti ce ne sono, insomma ogni tanto con Giusi, anche in questi giorni, parliamo e io ho in mente una cosa che mi piacerebbe molto fare e che poi qua in Portogallo ho visto un riferimento interessante, quindi poi tutto un pochino torna e chiaramente poi dalla parola al progetto la strada è lunga, ma è proprio quello la cosa interessante, il percorso.
Okay, so thank you. We understood that you don't want to tell us the project and you want to keep it secret.
I want to maintain the hype.
Yeah, so Giusi too, you're not gonna leak anything for us.
Sicuramente si lavorerà sui materiali, ecco, quello
Sì.
è un tema che è un po' la linfa e l'alfabeto del design, e quindi è un tema sempre nuovo, sempre stimolante, che sottende tanti temi, la ricerca, l'estetica, la sostenibilità, quindi è proprio un fil rouge che accomuna tutto.
Sì, assolutamente. Come diceva prima Arianna, a volte solo il fatto di guardare un soffitto, come ci è successo questa mattina, è stato poi per lei ispirazione per fare un progetto di tavoli. Ah, guarda che bello questo soffitto! È tutto un work in progress.
Good, very good. Guta. Guta Moura Guedes has been a pioneer of design. Can you tell us a little bit? We know what you did, so can you tell us something about the current situation of your national design?
Hello, Maria Cristina. So glad to see you here. Sorry that you're not here with us in Lisbon, but it's good that we are able to talk. So the current situation of design in my country, in Portugal now, it's very good. It's very different from when I started working on design 28 years ago. So experimental design, the Design Biennale is going to be 25 years. The first edition, it was 25 years ago. And at that time, the situation was very different in Portugal. So we had always very good teaching in terms of design, a huge amount of creativity, but there was no link between industry and design. And now I think that if you ask me, one of the big changes is that link is now being made. So finally we connected industry with creativity. We recognize the value of design for our country, not the way that Italy did, of course, but we don't have your history, we don't have your tradition, and we don't have the luck of having a design year like a design day, Italian design day, a Portuguese design day all over the world. But step by step, the situation changed a lot. Of course,
it's been like a great progress since you initiated.
Huge, yes, a huge progress, no doubt. We always work with international designers in Portugal, and our industry is actually always working with international designers. The big question here is how to profit more with the national creativity. But like you were saying, I'm not focused very much, in the national idea of design. I'm more focused on this international idea around the discipline as a whole. So independently on the countries, and especially nowadays that we travel so much, information travels so fast. So it's very easy to invite people to come to Portugal to design and to produce with our industry. It's also very easy to invite Portuguese designers to come, to go abroad and to work with different brands. So the world is not at all what it was 25 years ago, and also for Portugal. So I'm confident in that aspect. Of course, we need to be more challenged. That's why these relations between Italy and Portugal can also be so interesting, because, of course, Italy can produce in Italy, like Tacchini is doing this, their production. But we know that we can collaborate not only in terms of producing, but also in terms of offering this huge amount of creativity that we have here. So it's a moment for that. Portugal is more than ready for that. I don't have any sorts of doubts. And that's more or less what is happening here. So we are ready in many aspects.
Thank you so much. So you told us about the past and the present. So what's going to be about the future? What's going to be the future?
Well, the future, this is a very tough moment to ask about the future in all the dimensions, as we know. The future is going for sure to be very different from what we can imagine. Maybe people who have read science fiction books know a bit more. I read lots of science fiction books, but we are in a very important moment in terms of deep changes, as we know. And for me, the most important thing is how design can be a tool to help society, to make society more sustainable. That's why what you were discussing with Mariana and with Giusi was so important. Not only sustainability in terms of materials and in terms of the environment, but also social sustainability. And my true belief, and again, that's my passion, is that design can be a very important tool for that. So if you ask me about the future, and we are here in this beautiful place, we are surrounded by beautiful and very functional objects, extremely well done, representing the skills, human skills. But in my perspective, what we need to do is to go deeper on that. So the skills that we are able to prove that we can achieve when we do a table like this, a bench, a lamp, everything, this connection between culture and economy can be even deeper. So my vision for the future is that we need to start to pay more attention to design as a discipline, to be more democratic in the way we use it, to bring it more to people. Experimental was all about it. So experimental design was not a biennale. Yes, it was not. Nothing wrong with chairs. We are very glad with chairs, but we are more interested in understanding the role of design for a more interesting, efficient society. And so in that sense, good companies, good design companies, good designers, good buyers, informed consumers are very important to make this discipline moving forward. And this is the right moment for us to do it. And so all of us here, the ones that are sitting here, but all of us outside, we are in that sense, again, ready for that. That's the good news when it comes to the 21st century. We are ready to move forward. Of course, we have extra problems, as we know, the wars, all different, very hard political situations, but also we have more space for individual power. And I do believe a lot in individual power. So I would say that future is going to be difficult, but no doubt interesting, and for sure that we can do something. We are not going to stay still. And in that sense, we all count. So I'm a positive, I'm not an optimistic, naive person, on the contrary, but I do believe that we can do important changes now.
Thank you very much. I think we had the chance to discuss more than once the crucial role of design within our society and how we consider the ultimate engine to improve ourselves, our product. So as a friend of ours said, Gunda, so it's a state of mind. Okay? It's a state of mind that can be passed to people, that can educate people. Design is pretty much about thinking in a different way. And it's not so much about asking questions, it's not so much about having an answer, but it is about asking questions, to go deeper, to ask more, to look for something different. And I think that I don't want to lose this faith. So I know that we share this faith.
And also, it's also about, sorry to interrupt, Mariana, you were both saying about the importance of collaborating during the process. Designers do not work alone, they work together. So they learn about collaboration. And collaboration is one of the most important challenges nowadays. And design is a very good proof that through collaboration, because you see, you have Giusi, she is a businesswoman. You are a businesswoman and an artistic director. Mariana, she's a designer. So they need to reach a moment where they can communicate and they can produce something new and good. So that dimension of design, the possibility of collaborate, of working as a team, of understanding different layers of reality from economy to ethical issues to social issues, it is part of this discipline. That's why it is so important. Sorry to interrupt, just to mention this collaboration idea, which is crucial.
Absolutely, absolutely. Guta, so as you got your cavalierato from the ambassador, and then as I know that you are pretty much aware of the Italian design scene, can you give us a thought about our current state?
Before this a huge amount of Italians here is a bit dangerous. I have to be careful. Now, we have a passion in Portugal for Italian design since always. Not only in Portugal, but it's a worldwide feeling, I think. We see Italian design as something that is part of world culture. Of course, we learn from the classics. Of course, we learn from the good companies. And now the future is very different. The present in Italy is very different. I think I remember going to Milano 98, 97, and so on. And now when we go to Milano, and hopefully we're going to be together in April for the Salone, when we go to Milano, it is a completely different reality. And I think that in a way, Italy was very clever to open doors to the international community, super clever in doing that. We are not living the same moment we lived when the designer was the protagonist, the superstar. Now we are living different times where this combination of the context, the fact that your company is based where it is, the fact that you are looking to specific materials, the fact that you are establishing these connections with very young generations, being Italian or not, it doesn't matter. So Italy was able to change in that sense. And that is, again, very clever because you are very clever when it comes to business, not only when it comes to business, but you are very good on that. In Portugal, we have other competences. We are learning from Italy in many aspects, but we are different in that sense. So I would say that the present for me in Italy is not, I don't look at Italian design as a closed thing as we looked in the past. Now for me, Italian design is an open platform, which I think is very positive for a country. Again, we are not talking about something that it is only about Italy. It's about Italy in relation with the world, and you managed to achieve that. So I think that you are quite good. So, and you have, of course, very interesting names, design names, internationally recognized in many different fields. And here we are talking about furniture design more, but we know about software design, digital design, all the other dimensions of design. And as a curator, of course, although I have a passion for design, Italian design, of course, I'm always paying very much attention to your creative community, and it's popping up like it was before. So I think it's well, you don't need me to say that. It's a very positive situation.
It's always good to hear. We try to keep strong with that, I have to say. Yes. So, Studio Pepe, would you like to tell us what you present for next Salone del Mobile in April?
Il nostro studio da 7 anni al Salone ha sempre presentato insieme ai progetti per le varie aziende e progetti di interior, di showroom, eccetera, anche un progetto manifesto. Il progetto manifesto per noi è un progetto autofinanziato, poi con la collaborazione di vari partner, di varie aziende, negli anni passati anche Tacchini, che un po' raccontava quello che avevamo fatto durante l'anno, ma allo stesso tempo gettava una luce, dei piccoli semi di quello che poteva essere anche per l'anno prossimo, quindi idee, progetti, prototipi, e indagava varie tematiche. Siamo partiti indagando la tematica dell'intimità domestica, degli spazi collettivi, dei luoghi di incontro come poteva essere un bar, anche con tematiche relative ai simboli, all'inconscio. Quindi ogni anno è sempre stato qualcosa che muoveva e raccontava quello che erano stati i nostri interessi durante quell'anno e non solo. Poi col Covid questo progetto manifesto è diventato digitale, quindi è stato qualcosa di immateriale, creando dei video e confrontandoci su un altro modo di raccontare il design e delle visioni legate al design in modo non tangibile, quindi non attraverso un luogo reale, ma dei luoghi immaginati. Poi l'anno scorso abbiamo fatto questo progetto invece collettivo, quindi coinvolgendo altri architetti e designer italiani, milanesi, no, non solo milanesi, italiani, e quindi è diventato un progetto manifesto collettivo, si chiamava Campo Base, proprio per dare l'idea di un luogo di partenza per ulteriori esplorazioni. Quindi siamo partiti dalla estrema intimità alla collettività e abbiamo pensato quest'anno di fare una scelta un po' in controtendenza, per cui non faremo un progetto manifesto, perché pensiamo che tutte le cose, anche le più interessanti, abbiano un inizio e un punto di arrivo. E, in questi tempi così complessi crediamo che ci si debba anche saper fermare. E quindi abbiamo pensato di concentrarci molto sui progetti che presenteremo, che vedrete tra poco al Salone del Mobile, ma di aspettare probabilmente l'anno prossimo per raccontare di nuovo quello che è un po' nelle nostre teste, quello che pensiamo che possa anche interessare. Detto questo, però faremo comunque un progetto, faremo dei progetti comunque per varie aziende del design italiano e internazionale, e poi un progetto per una realtà che non fa parte del mondo del design, perché è un'istituzione legata più al mondo della finanza, che però vuole promuovere l'empowerment femminile, il concetto di unione e di coralità, e quindi indagherà questo concetto poi attraverso non voglio svelare niente, però ci sarà come partner l'Arena di Verona, per cui qualcosa legato alla pluralità della rappresentazione teatrale, legata poi al mondo del canto, che comunque il canto, il coro, è un concetto di una voce, tante voci creano una voce che si può ascoltare in modo più forte che una voce singola. E quindi lascio questa input, ma non racconto altro.
Thank you very much. It seems very interesting. So I hope to receive the invitation.
For sure.
Where do you present your? Will you be at the fair, Giusi?
Yes.
You'll be at the fair. Wow. Okay.
Sì, saremo al Salone. Penso che ormai per Tacchini è passata oltre la 30ª edizione di Salone del Mobile. E sì. E come ogni anno la nostra collezione sarà un mix tra design contemporanei e grandi maestri del passato, perché è un po' la filosofia della nostra azienda. Da diversi anni, come dicevi anche prima, il primo designer che abbiamo rieditato è stato Castiglioni. Abbiamo fatto tantissimi progetti con Frattini, Tobia Scarpa, che poi siamo diventati Mario Bellini, Martin Eisler. Insomma, sono tantissimi maestri del passato con i quali abbiamo lavorato e continuiamo a lavorare. per la prossima edizione del Salone lanceremo due collezioni del passato, una di Vico Magistretti, ecco, i nomi li posso dare senza dire quali saranno i progetti, il secondo sarà Giocolombo.
Very interesting, Giocolombo.
Sì, davvero un pezzo straordinario. Anche qui mixati con designer contemporanei avremo Fade to Good, Michael Anastasiades, e naturalmente al Salone insieme a tutti questi pezzi ci saranno sempre i pezzi dello studio Pepe che ci accompagnano da tanti anni e che ben si sposano con le collezioni anche del passato.
And they keep on following you.
Sì.
Okay, very, very ambitious project with the Colombo Archive. I guess you have worked with Ignazia Fabata.
Sì, assolutamente sì.
She's a great lady.
Yes.
One of the strongest.
Very strong.
And so I'm also happy to realize now that this is a female table. Very good. And what else? I would like to know if there are any questions from the audience. I know it's a bit tricky with this remote moderation. And in case there are not, I would like to start thanking. Thank you very much, Carlo Formosa, Ambassador at the Italian Embassy in Portugal. Thank you so much. Thanks to Ministero degli Esteri and Adi and Design Days for being there, for making up this project that, as the ambassador said, it's really, we are the only one that do that, and it's very important to spread our idea, our creativity, and to make people know the treasure that Italy has. Thank you very much to Paola D'Agostino and her fantastic team. Thank you to Pedro for the fantastic setting. And thank you to my guests, Arianna, Giusi, and Guta. Thank you so much for also accepting to do that in such a, but sometimes technology helps, no? It doesn't ruin the poetry, sometimes it helps. And thank you to the audience for being here tonight. Good night.
Such a pity.
Well, wonderful. I can only thank you, Maria Cristina. It was really wonderful. Thank you for all you've said. I think we become stronger when we hear these things. And thank you all for coming. It was really a pleasure. And we hope we will have other times together like this. It's really a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Grazie.